3-6 Mafia was blaring from the radio, indicating that Zach was on tonight, and between the beats of the hip-hop music she could hear the hum of the spiral mixer. "Yo, Zach!" she called out, craning her neck to find the boy. He emerged from the mixing area, pushing a rolling cart filled with raw dough. Now a senior in high school, Zach Alger had worked at the bakery for 2 years. He didn't seem to mind the early morning hours, always heading to school with a bag of fresh pastries. He had distinctly Nordic features, pale blue eyes, white blonde hair, and lanky, earnest good looks. "Is anything wrong?" he asked. "Couldn't sleep," she said, feeling a bit sheepish. "Is Laura around?" "Specialty loaves," he said, gesturing as he wheeled the tub of dough toward the 6-foot-tall proofing cabinet. Laura Tuttle had worked at the bakery for 30 years, as a master baker for 25. She knew the business even better than Jenny did. She claimed to love the early hours, that the schedule was perfectly suited to her circadian clock. "Well, look who's here," she said, yet she didn't glance up as she spoke. "I had a craving for a kolache." Jenny swished through the rubber-rimmed swinging doors to the cafe, where she helped herself to a cup of coffee and a day-old pastry from the case. Then she returned to the prep area, welcoming the familiar taste but feeling no calmer. Out of habit, she grabbed an apron from a hook. Jenny rarely did the hands-on work. As owner and general manager, she stayed busy in a supervisory and administrative capacity. She had an office upstairs with a view of the town square, and a security monitor gave her a glimpse of the cafe counter. She spent most days juggling the needs of employees, suppliers, customers, and regulatory agencies with a phone glued to her ear and her eyes glued to the computer screen. But sometimes, she reflected, you just had to roll up your sleeves and dive in. There was no sensation quite like plunging one's hands into a warm mass of silky dough. It felt like something half alive, squishing through her fingers. Now she slipped the apron over her head and joined Laura at a work table. The specialty breads were done in smaller batches and shaped by hand. Today's selections would be a traditional Polish bread made with eggs, orange peel, and currants, and a savory herb loaf of Laura's invention. She and Laura worked side by side, weighing portions of dough on a 1-pound scale, although both knew the size by feel alone. Across the room, Jenny could see the refrigerated pie case filled with her grandmother's pies. Technically speaking, they were not Helen Majesky's pies, but the original recipes for the lofty lemon meringue, the glossy 3-berry tarts with the lattice tops, the creamy buttermilk chess pie, and all the others came from Helen herself, decades ago. Her techniques had been passed on from one master baker to the next, and now, even after her death, she haunted the bakery as gently and sweetly as she had lived. Jenny felt curiously detached from herself as she braided the dough into fat, rounded loaves. She looked at her white, floury hands and could see her grandmother's hands, lifting and turning the dough with a patient rhythm that seemed to come from a place Jenny didn't recognize in herself. The reality of Graham's passing settled in Jenny's bones. It had been 3 weeks, 2 days, and 14 hours. Jenny hated that she knew, practically down to the precise moment, exactly how long she had been alone. Laura kept working, setting each oiled loaf in a pan, one by one. She bobbed her head along with the hip-hop rhythm coming from the radio. She actually liked Zach's music, though Jenny suspected Laura didn't listen too closely to the lyrics. "You miss her a lot, don't you, doll?" Laura asked. She was the kind of person who knew things, like a mind reader. "So much," Jenny admitted. "And here I thought I was prepared. I don't know why I feel shell-shocked. I'm not good at this. In fact, I'm terrible at it. Terrible at mourning the dead and at living alone." She squared her shoulders, tried to shake off the mingling of panic and melancholy. The scary thing was,